if you're a financial advisor or an estate planner or tax planner, and sometimes you feel like you are not standing out from the competition, there's some people, they hop on a call with you and they say like, well, I'm just going to talk to other companies and then maybe come back to you. If that comes frequently to you, then you have a problem. You have a branding problem that you actually cannot differentiate yourself effectively from other competitors in your field. So in this video, we're going to go over on how to stand out from the crowd, how to build a personal brand, how to brand yourself so that you are received as unique and that you can charge higher prices, you can get more sales, and you can just overall have a better experience for your customers by building a personal brand and by using that brand in your advertising and in your marketing communication. So let's hop into the computer and go over the slides on how to do that. Alrighty, so how is everybody dealing with this problem? So what I see most financial advisors, most estate planners do when they want to get customers is that they rely heavily on referrals, and they also rely heavily on personal relationships, right? This is good. This is a very good source of getting clients, don't get me wrong, but this is also a very unscalable solution, right? You can only talk to so many people, only so many people are going to refer you. And once you want to start scaling your company, you want to grow exponentially and really build a system, a reliable system behind it, you cannot just rely on referrals and personal relationship. Then some of you are doing some Google ads. I see a lot of people do Google ads. I see some people do Facebook ads. This is good source of leads, don't get me wrong, right? But this can be very competitive and you can actually not really differentiate yourself that much on just a text ad. And a lot of people are actually running very generic Facebook ad creatives, which also does not really help with differentiation. Then we have some SEO. This is certainly a good strategy if you want to just overall build your authority in that space, but it takes time. And like I said, a lot of people are in that same space. A lot of people invest into SEO, meaning where there's a lot of people, there's also a lot of competition. And then I see some people, some financial advisors, some estate planners hire some social marketing freelancer or people that help them with that. And we have to say that most of those people don't really know what they're doing, right? I see a lot of people just posting the wrong stuff, talking to the wrong audience, and actually having that unstructured. And what almost nobody is doing, right? Like really nobody in that space is building a personal brand and using that in the advertising, right? Personal brands are just, the future, in my opinion. And it's really a unique way to differentiate yourself from other competitors. It's a way to leverage warmer audiences because people are going to know you, are going to know your face. You're going to be omnipresent in the world. It's also a great way, we've seen this as a great way of actually testing new creative angles, new advertising angles for free and get millions of views at the same time, right? Because the mistake that most people make is actually they run advertising without knowing what's working, right? Like if you just blast out an ad without knowing what your target audience actually wants to hear, then you have a problem. And the best thing about it is that it creates a flywheel. Once you have built up a library of content, then you can just post that over and over again, go back to the same messages, go back to the same sources, and just keep on building that. And that will attract customers. And it will also attract new employees, right? Because people are going to gravitate towards somebody who is out there rather than somebody who is a nobody. And I mean, there's a ton of examples for personal brands, and most of these people are billionaires. We can look at somebody like Kylie Jenner, right? Probably, I don't know, I don't want to be mean here, but like, I mean, she's basically not like, she doesn't do complex planning. She doesn't do like difficult work, right? What she does is she commands the attention. Her personal brand, wherever she goes, whether she goes into makeup, into TV, into other endorsement deals on social media, she commands the attention. That means she can charge any price she wants for promotion for her makeup, whatever, and she can just take that wherever she goes with her. And of course, that makes her a billionaire. We have somebody like Dave Ramsey, right? Like he is also omnipresent on social media. He has like millions and millions of followers. And he's booking speaking gigs. He has his company, right? So he's a billionaire himself with like that whole branding. And you don't have to be a billionaire, but this is just to exemplify what is possible once you have build yourself into that figure, because those people are never going to run out of work. Those people are never going to run out of clients. They command the attention, and he who commands the attention in this modern economy is the person who's going to get all the sales. And we can talk about somebody like Warren Buffett, right? Like Warren Buffett, the investor, yes, he has his company that's doing phenomenally well, but he also has a huge brand. Like his company, his personal brand is huge, right? Like, I mean, he commands the attention in the room. He likes to talk to the media. Granted, he doesn't have a social media channel, but he probably also doesn't need to, right? Because he's like 85 years old or something like that and has like $85 billion, right? So at a certain point, it's all about 80-20. And for example, that's not a personal brand, but that's also a brand. Something like Apple, right? A $1 trillion brand. Just because they command the attention, they have the loyal fans because they stand for something. That's why I want you to also stand for something to create a brand, right? So how would you approach this? How would you do this? I like to have an 80-20 social media strategy involved, right? So it's like minimal work and maximum output. We have two different markets, right? For those people who are more B2B oriented, it's going to be slightly different if it's B2C. And B2C doesn't mean like you're not working with business owners as well, but B2B, in my opinion, is if you only work with companies that you can actually find on Google, right, where you can find the address and the names. And B2C is more when you don't know who is going to be your client, right? It might be your neighbor, your doctor, but it's not like one specific demographic, right? And for B2B, we like to deploy LinkedIn and YouTube, whereas for B2C, it's much more about those short form video platforms, Facebook, IG, TikTok. Can be LinkedIn to a certain degree, don't get me wrong, but also YouTube, right? So how do we approach this? First, we want to put out a lot of different posts, right? You've seen me post a lot on my LinkedIn. I put out a lot of content, and this is not necessarily, I mean, yeah, sure, it attracts eyeballs, but this is also to test, right? Like my tests have shown me that for most of you, standing out from the crowd is a very interesting angle. Now I'm making this longer form video about standing out from the crowd. So this is how you want to test this. The same goes for B2C, right? You want to put out short form videos, for example, like we're doing with my Pew, right? We want to test the angles, and we see that removing spouses from bank accounts is a hot topic. Frozen bank accounts is a hot topic, right? So you can see we see the same topics, the same angles, but we also discover new ones. But we see them come over and over again. And once we create 5 million views, 800,000, 500,000, a million, right? Like we've created 70 million views, but this has probably come from 20 videos or something like that, right? So it's 80-20, you can see from 200 videos that we put out. So we want to actually test the angles of the advertising first before we then deploy more long form tactical content against that angle, right? So it's like, we want to test, okay, let's say apples are working, and then we want to make like 15 videos about apples, right? Because we want to like go where the eyeballs are instead of just trying something new all the time, right? So you need to find the right topics with shorter posts, right? Like a lot of different things, a lot of different variations, preferably 1 to 3 posts a day. And then you want to go into this long form, like more long form videos, because those are going to really bind your attention here. And I mean, this can be like I said, this is a massive flywheel. For example, for Mike Pugh, we've gotten 3 million views on TikTok, and he hasn't even shot a new video, right? This is just reposting. You can see we post the videos multiple times. We're just amassing amount of views because we can post 2 to 3 times per day even. But then also we post different hooks, different angles, that meaning we have more and more chance of virality. I just recently started working with Tram Law, right? So they have been able to, we made 6 videos and we gotten him over 1.2 million views, right? So this is an insane result, right? So once you know what the right angles is, and we kind of know that for the financial and estate planning space, then it's very easy to create the advertising. It's easy to create the content because you already know what's working. So how do you kind of package that in a whole system? So like I said, before that, you want to have the content, you want to test the message market fit, you want to test the angles that you have into advertising, and then you want to recreate those angles in the advertising, because now you have the hook point, you have the point that people actually resonate with, and that makes the advertising much more easier, right? Because you actually don't have to find and test so much in advertising because you already kind of know what's working. And then you want to trade that information, right? You want to trade their email address, their phone number against longer form education, right? So you want to actually go from broader topics, right? Simple little videos into long form, right? Like long form, like I'm talking to you right here. Like the person who's going to watch that video to the end is going to have a little bit of a connection to me, right? It's going to feel like, hey, I actually showed them something that's very valuable for them. And this is the same concept that we want to do. Then we want to invite them to book a clarity call, and we want to follow up with those people with more content, with more value, when they don't book a call. And then once people book a clarity call, we normally like to pre-screen people and book them on a sales call, because you don't want to sell to everyone, right? Once you have a system like that running, once you have a lot of traffic coming through the doors, you want to find a way to actually pre-qualify people with questions like, are you looking for information? Or are you actually looking to set up a plan? Are you somebody who takes action when presented with the right opportunity? If I were to get you 70 million views in a year, would you be willing to invest in that solution? Costs about 2 to 4K or something like that, right? So that's the question that we ask to find the gold standard. Because once you run a high traffic advertising system, you need some kind of system to actually qualify the people. Otherwise, that is pretty much straightforward. This is the funnel that has really worked for us, that is producing $500,000 or more in extra sales for the people that we work with. If you want a system like that set up, then feel free to reach out to me. Book a free 20-minute call. I can walk you through the systems. Also, if you have any other questions, feel free to DM me, send me an email, send me a DM. I'm pretty active on social media, and I'm happy to provide more value, send more, answer any questions that I have, right? Because I feel like education is the way to actually sell implementation, right? If I educate enough people, if I show them all the systems that are working for us, then a lot of people will actually flock and work with me. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and I wish you a great day. Thank you so much. Goodbye.